A Stuart beam engine bought online, Part 1. Bidding on an online auction for a model steam engine is not without risk. You are bidding on a photograph, and it is easy to buy something that is bad. This opening image shows an obvious problem to me. Can you spot it? This engine has been sent to me by the unlucky buyer. I now have the job of making it sound a bit less like a pneumatic drill. The main problem is that when I look at it in detail, there is a lot wrong with it. To coin a phrase, this engine is good from afar, but far from good. So, did you spot the obvious issue with this engine? Take a look at the exhaust pipe. The patina of the copper pipe doesn't match the rest of the engine. This is a recent addition. It's too small a diameter at 3/16 of an inch, and it's been soft soldered into the flange. Using soft solder on a steam engine of this type is really not recommended. Superheated steam, or even steam that's passed through a steam dryer, where it goes back through the fire, is hot enough to melt soft solder. I would think the recent addition of this copper piping would have been to make the engine look more saleable. Time to look at what is making the noise. Well, one thing is definitely the flywheel. There's something a bit wrong here. It's wobbling about all over the place. Time to engage my brain. Is the pedestal firmly bolted down to the baseboard? This is the first thing to check. A tiny bit of play on the crankshaft is not a big problem, but this is. I'm not even sure that the flywheel's a good fit on the crankshaft. The crankweb on the end of the crankshaft was very loose. I tightened that up. I'm seeing evidence of someone tinkering with the engine long before I got my hands on it. The crankweb was held to the crankshaft using a couple of very small bolts, and that was loose, and the pedestal is not firmly tightened down onto the baseboard. Unfortunately, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The knocking is not coming from this area, it's coming from various other areas. Look at the state of the beam. I've never seen a Stuart beam engine before with this much play in the beam on the shaft that goes through the beam. Plus, the beam has been fitted upside down. The hole in it is meant to take a grub screw to hold the beam onto the shaft, and this goes underneath. But sadly, not in this case. I'm already committed to taking this engine apart, complete disassembly, well, most of it anyway. I've turned the engine around to look at the other end. This is the Watt's parallel motion, and yes, you've guessed it, this isn't right either. It's loose, very rattly. But this alone would not cause the knocking noise. There are various factors that I'm fully aware of, and I will show you them during the course of this series, including some dubious fixes which work but are not the answer. Soft soldered into this flange on the steam chest was a 3/16 of an inch diameter copper pipe which I unsoldered using a very small blowtorch. Prior to receiving this engine in the post for repair, the buyer sent me a video to show how badly it ran. This gave me a clue as to what the problem is, but so far it's a lot worse than I thought. The first thing to do is to remove this flange, fit it in the lathe chuck, and thread it 1/4 by 40 threads per inch. Stuart models normally use 32 threads per inch. In this case I'm using 40 threads per inch, which are more common in the miniature steam locomotive world, but they do just the same job. The bolts were already loose, so the flange came off very easily. Here it is in my Myford ML7R's chuck. And first of all I'm going to drill it 7/32 of an inch, which is tapping size for 1/4 by 40 threads per inch. This flange is made out of a soft material, so I could only grip it in the chuck to a certain extent, but it's sufficient to rotate it against the pressure of the drill. You have to have a gentle touch sometimes with these things. As a cutting lubricant, I would normally use steam oil, which is quite a good extreme pressure lubricant. But for this job I'm using WD-40, mainly just to blow away the chippings after I've threaded the part. The first tap that I used was a taper tap, so for quite a long distance down the tap it's tapered. It makes the cutting process easier to start and doesn't put too much pressure on the piece of metal that's fitted in the chuck. You will notice I'm doing this by hand. After the tapping job, I removed the tap by slackening the tailstock chuck and just screwing the tap out of the hole using my fingers. The final part of the job is to face across the front of the flange to remove the solder and make sure it's a nice smooth finish. As usual, I got rid of the sharp edge by using a file. During this gentle facing and filing process, I left the part mounted on the tap. Not good practice, but it works. This was a plug tap that I used to make sure it went all the way through the work and wasn't tight. The next part of the job is very simple. I just re-bolt the flange to the steam chest. It already has a gasket fitted, so everything should be okay once the bolts are tight. Now to connect the airline. Into the recently threaded hole I fitted a 1/4x40 double union, then I pressed the piece of silicone rubber tube airline, complete with a spring clip, onto the union and moved the clip into position. This is what happened when I turned on the compressed air. At this stage, I personally had not oiled the engine. Someone else had because it was oily, but I'm oiling it using steam oil, which is very thick and gloopy. It made a slight difference, but not as you'd notice. Health and safety warning, do not do this. Handling parts of the engine when it is running is very dangerous. I'm only doing it for the purposes of the video, and I've been working on steam engines for quite a long time, so I do have a healthy respect for them. When I grab the connecting rod, the knocking stops a little bit, but the problem with the knocking does not come just from the connecting rod. It's a combination of things that are causing it. When I grab the connecting rod, and I really don't recommend that you do this, the knocking is a lot less, but that is not just the problem. You'll find out during the series what the problem is and how I fixed it. And that is it for episode 1. I'd like to say, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.